Hey everyone, welcome back to ACT Math Quick Hits, where you can make one small change and watch a video a day. It doesn't cost you any money and only costs you a little bit of time, and you're going to help improve your ACT math score. So there's the rundown of the math section of the ACT. So let's get back into it for today. Alright, so it says a tourism organization randomly selects 100 tourists finishing their summer visit to Spain. The organization asked them how many cities they had toured in the country. The table shows the results based on the data for the population of tourists that visited Spain during the summer. What is the best estimate of the mean number of cities toured? Okay, so that's a ton of stuff there. Basically, we're trying to find the mean, which is the average of the number of cities toured. Now, they have a lot of pretty good distractors here, and this question kind of reads a little bit tough, and the chart isn't really obvious as to what's happening. But we have to understand here is, it tells us that 10 tourists visited one city. Right? So if we're going to take the average of that, we would just add up 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 10 times and then divide it by 10. Then it tells us 40 tourists visited 2 cities. So we would have to do a similar thing. We would have to add that together 40 times. And then the same thing for the 50 tourists that visited 3 cities. We'd have to take 3 and add it together 50 times and then divide it by how many we have. So that's how we could do that average. And actually, we could power through this relatively easily on Desmos, but it would just be a lot of inputting. So you could take functions and then go to the mean, or you just type in mean, and that gives you the average, and then put in your data. So again, 10 tourists visited 1 city. So we would have to put in we'd have to put in 1 10 times, right? So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then it tells us 40 tourists visited 2 cities. So 2 would go in 40 times, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then I would do that 40 times. And then I would do the same thing for 3, and I would have to put it in 50 times. So that would give me the average. And again, pretty easy to do on Desmos. Super annoying to put in all those values, but it would for sure give us our calculation. The easier way to do that, or this, is to know, okay, so again, the average is telling us to add up the total that we have and then divide it by the total that we're looking for. So I know, right, if I can look at my little calculation above, right, if 10 tourists visited 10 cities, well, then that's 10 cities visited. If 40 tourists visited 2 cities, well, that's 80 cities visited. And then if 50 tourists visited 3 cities, we would do 50 times 3, or 150 cities. So that would be the total of cities visited, and then we need to divide that by the total number of tourists that we are looking at. So you can do 50 plus 40 plus 10, or at the very beginning it does tell you 100 tourists. So there we could just add them up and divide by 100, and we end up with 2.4. So either way, is going to give you that 2.4. Again, that top way is going to be pretty time consuming and relatively annoying, but it will get you there. The bottom way, is obviously much faster, but you have to understand what the chart is saying and then add those pieces together. So 2.4. All right, so I know that ACT Math Prep isn't the most exciting thing out there, but your future self will appreciate it if you like and subscribe. That way you can keep getting these quick hits, learn about the ACT, learn some math, and a Desmos hack whenever we can. Thanks for watching, everyone.